I'm Richard Pyatt. This is Pest Perspectives from the Pest Pros of Michigan. We talk about those pesky insects and wildlife and a number of solutions involved in helping them move on down the road one way or another, I guess. Tony Sorrentino's back with us, an ACE, Associate Certified Entomologist with Pest Pros of Michigan. Hello, Tony.
Hey, Richard. It's great to see you again.
Today, we're talking about mosquitoes, and in particular, a certain kind of solution that you may have heard of, and if you haven't, you will, that can help mitigate a mosquito problem in your world. Let's, Tony, just get settled on the idea of mosquitoes. They're not just annoying, are they? We should be taking them a little more seriously?
I definitely would. Mosquitoes are vectors of disease. Females require a blood meal for egg production, and males feed mostly on nectar. Mosquitoes in general globally are responsible for more human deaths than any other animal through disease transmission.
Wow. Boy, I don't think I'd heard that before. That's wild. How do they transmit disease?
It's known as an arbovirus. It's a arthropod-borne virus of common note are like the West Nile virus, triple E. We had an outbreak, I think it was in 2018. That's Eastern equine encephalitis. There's dengue, there's the Zika virus, and malaria is probably the most widely known, but that's caused by a protozoan infection, not a virus.
And we don't generally deal with malaria in Michigan. You listed a bunch of others, though, that sound pretty impressive. Now, that little pesky bug, all it has to do is bite you, and if they're carriers of these things, we're off to the races.
There's a potentiality for it. And I'm never trying to sell fear, but there is a threat. The mosquito will bite a bird or another infected host, and then the mosquito feeds on that host, and the pathogen develops inside the mosquito, and then the mosquito will bite another host, and the mosquito is then the vector for these diseases.
We hear about fogging for mosquitoes and treatments such as that. Is that different than what we might do ourselves as homeowners?
What we do is a little different. We apply with a gas or battery-powered mister that creates a smaller droplet size, smaller microns, to better coat the underbrush and the resting areas where mosquitoes will live and harbor. The shady areas, vegetation, the lower canopy around the structure perimeter. And that's why an inspection is so important, because there might be resting sites or breeding sites that we're not identifying.
You anticipated what I was going to ask about where they like to be. They're not out generally living in lawns and things like that. If there's mowers going over, that probably disrupts their homestead, shall we say. But in the foundational areas where there might be some cover, that's a perfect spot.
Right. That's where we focus our treatment. It's usually around the exterior perimeter, the wood line. Heavy brush areas will be where they live and rest.
So if we're already fogging, why do they keep coming back?
The new adults emerge continuously from standing water on and off the property. And some species of mosquito can travel, up to 2 miles to, go out and hunt for a blood meal, whether it's a horse or other livestock. It could be pets. A lot of times when we're, relaxing, enjoying our outdoor spaces, that's when we become vulnerable.
Now let's talk about this option that some of us may have heard of. It's called In2Care, IN2CARE. What's this about, Tony?
Female mosquitoes are attracted to standing water and other areas, tree holes, water in tires, that 5-gallon bucket that's out behind your garage. It's in their nature. It's in their biology and behavior. Like that's what they're seeking out. And So they're attracted to lay their eggs. The In2Care system uses pyroproxyfen and another biofungicide that's called Bovaria bassiana. And it uses these two things in concert to create an area where mosquitoes are going to be drawn to breed. The pyroproxyfen handles the larvicide. The adults will pick up the Bovaria bassiana, and then they auto disseminate it. So as they move from spot to spot, laying eggs in multiple areas, they will auto disseminate the product that they picked up, that Bovaria bassiana. It will affect other mosquitoes that come to those areas, and it will also kill the female mosquito that's out there. So we're looking at larval control. We're looking at adult control. It's a supplemental program that goes along with fogging to help create a greater impact on the mosquito breeding population in your immediate area.
This is like, I don't know, the Roach Motel, but better. I mean, it's a trap essentially. But it poisons them while they're there, and then they go back and carry that poison wherever they go.
It works extremely well. We've had some great successes with the In2Care program as an add-on to traditional fogging or mosquito misting.
Yeah. People always ask about safety, right? So talk about that. If you have In2Care around pets and kids and wildlife and that sort of thing.
So pyroproxyfen doesn't pose a threat to people or pets, and Bovaria bassiana is insect specific. So even if like the dog inadvertently kicked over the thing and slurped up a little of the water from that spilled out of there, dogs, it's not gonna pose a threat to people or pets. So it's a green alternative,
I see.
not traditionally green like organic, but however, it doesn't, like I said, it doesn't pose a threat.
So you mentioned that this works in tandem with fogging. How does that typically play out? The fogging happens periodically. What do you have to do to maintain the In2Care?
Fogging is recommended on a month-to-month basis to maintain control. And it's not ever going to stop 100% of the mosquitoes. There's no way. What we do expect from the fogging in general is like a 70 to 80% reduction in the mosquito population. The In2Care system complements the fogging. So we're going to have a even greater insect reduction rate, considering that we're doing larval control, we're doing adulticide. It really works well in tandem.
So I've seen a couple of pictures of In2Care. It's this, it's like a trap, and it's a round item that you use. Where do you put it typically?
The one at my house is in the shade back by my little pond where the mosquitoes breed. It's not technically a trap. They are free to come and go as they please, and we encourage that. The real benefit comes from the auto dissemination, because then they're gonna track the Bovaria bassiana to other areas and affect other populations. So we're gonna get kind of a double whammy out of it. They're doing the hard work for us.
Yeah, 70 to 80% with fogging. I mean, that's already significant. And then this is, I don't know, kind of like the preen for mosquitoes. You put down preen to try to keep the weeds from germinating. This is going to wipe out the future generations of it. So this has to be quite effective.
It's a higher level of control, especially in areas where traditional fogging might not be enough. If you've got, wetlands, or if you've got neighbors who refuse to, dump that standing water out of the kiddie pool, or set those tires someplace where they're not going to fill up with rainwater. We've seen nightmare instances where, there's tens of thousands of larval stage mosquitoes in the standing water surrounding people's houses, and that's affecting everyone in your neighborhood.
That's quite impressive. Not the kind of impressive we like, but quite impressive. So does the In2Care device sit right on the surface of the ground? How does that work?
It's effectively a bucket. It's about 12 to 18 inches tall. The mosquitoes can fly right into it. There's a float inside of it, and there's a gauze strip that's impregnated with the Beauveria bassiana. And then the pyroproxyphene goes in the water. It's got like a cone on the top of it. It's supposed to keep a little rainwater out. We fill it up. I think it takes about a half a gallon of water, between a half a gallon and a gallon of water. And then we manage those monthly. So every time we come out to do your mosquito service, we will do that again in tandem because it's part of the program. The mosquito misting serves a threefold purpose. It'll control the mosquito, flea, and tick activity, while In2Care is mosquito specific.
Interesting. All right. This is real science here. We've learned about mosquitoes and how they behave and created this system. We didn't create it, but I mean, the system was created in order to take advantage of their habits and then spread that effective treatment that wipes out the whole area of issue with them, that is just tremendously exciting. So obviously in our climate in Michigan, you're going to come out a few months out of the year and then it gets put away for the winter and it comes back again in the spring. Is that the typical cycle?
That's correct.
Okay. So if mosquitoes are a pain in the neck in your yard, then maybe this is the option that helps augment the fogging procedure that may be also underway. Do you recommend this, by the way, in areas that might not necessarily be near standing water, but maybe there's an issue in your yard with mosquitoes? You notice it, you deal with it. It's good there too?
Yep, absolutely. Like I said, it's like the icing on the cake.
All right. If that sounds interesting to you, reach out to the Pest Pros of Michigan and ask them if this is a viable option in your yard or on your property to help control mosquito population. In2Care. All right, Pest PROspectives. This is where we talk about things like this and educating folks about pest control from the Pest Pros of Michigan. Follow us or subscribe where you get these episodes. We have lots more we've already presented. Check them out and more to come. Tony, we'll be back soon.
Thanks, Richard.